So now just imagine the enormity of the situation. And we're all entangled in our karmas. The fact that we're sitting here in this one room today, it means there is some entanglement of karma there. Sometimes you get the greatest of pain in your life from those who are closest to you. Happens sometimes? Happens. So obviously there's a very strong karmic connect there. You have some equations or some accounts to settle from your previous karmic balances. And you want to be friends or brothers and sisters or partners or husband and wife or children and parents or whatever it is. And you have to settle that account in this life, and it became a vicious thing. So if someone is closely together and bitterly quarreling, for example, bitterly at loggerheads, there's likelihood there's some previous karmic account that's been settled here. So we may not know the specifics of that, but we just get a general idea. So understanding these principles of the existence of the soul, of karma, of reincarnation, the world begins to make a little more sense now. And then we begin to see that this is all just such a big, complex scenario. What's the purpose of it all? And this is where the Bhagavad Gita further illuminates the discussion and said, yes, you are a spirit soul. You are not meant to be living here in this world of matter. You are not meant to be entangled in the bondage of karma. You have to become free from karma. So you have to realize your own spiritual nature. That is what the Bhagavad Gita tells all of us. And when we take to the spiritual process, and in this day and age, the chanting of transcendental sound vibration, like the mantra that we saw a little while ago, and we heard being chanted so melodiously earlier, such transcendental sound vibrations, they cleanse our consciousness, and they destroy and they burn up our karma to the roots, the very roots of it. We destroy our material karma. What remains therefore is the spiritual nature, that is our original nature. And then we get released from the cycle of birth and death. And we never have to return to this world where there is so much of karma baggage that gives us a long suffering. It's a very good topic, karma. I just wanted to share a few thoughts with you. I'd leave the floor open now to discussion, any questions, any thoughts, any comments, etc. Please feel free to just raise your hand and let me know if you have any question to ask. Thank you for being a very attentive audience. I could hardly see anybody dozing off asleep. I think I have this karma because wherever I go I find people sleeping. Probably I must have been sleeping a lot in other people's lectures or classes. Yes. Okay, I'll repeat your question so everyone hears it. The question is that we can understand that there's a question of reincarnation between animals and humans, but does it happen to plants as well? Yes, indeed. Any life form, wherever there is life, there is the soul. And wherever there is life, there is also reincarnation. Yes. Yes. Good logical question. We've taken it to the next step forward. What's your name? Heidi? Okay, Heidi was the first question and she has a very logical question, a follow-up to that. That if plants also have life, and they do, then that raises questions about vegetarianism, because we are also consuming life forms. And that is correct. Yes, indeed we do. So even vegetarianism is not karma-free. But comparatively, it is minimal. You know, wherein lies the karma? The karma lies in inflicting pain, cruelty on others. That implies that the person must have the ability to sense or feel that pain, which means the nervous system in the body of that entity must be sufficiently developed in order to experience that pain. Yes? Now we know that the more advanced the anatomy and the physiology of the living entity, the more its capacity to experience pain and pleasure. For example, for human beings, even a subtle change in the body language can mean a whole big thing for us. Yes? Subtle things. So, our capacity to experience pain and pleasure is very subtle, and it's the most evolved in all the species of life. Even amongst the animals, it's very strong. Those of you who have pets, you know how it is, how sensitive animals are, and how much pain they experience, and how fearful they get at the prospect of impending attack. So the pain that is caused to a plant, on the other hand, is very, very minimal. They also experience pain, but is extremely minimal because they do not have a nervous system. So therefore the amount of pain and cruelty that we inflict is unimaginably more for the more advanced species, like the animals, with respect to, let's say, the plants. And that's one reason why the karma involved in killing animals is so much more, unimaginably more, than the karma inflicted upon, let's say, a plant. That's the first point. The second point is that in vegetarian dishes, items, there are many things that do not involve killing. Let's say you take nuts, or you take many other types of foods that don't involve killing, so that's there. However, there is another aspect to taking life, apart from causing pain, and that is that we have no right to deprive some entity of its place of residence. For example, if I come to your house and move you out forcibly from your house, that's a crime. So the soul is within the body of an animal or within the body of a plant. So when I deprive that particular soul of its residence within that body, that's also a kind of a violence. So therefore, even vegetarianism is not perfectly karma-free. It has that little bit, it's tiny, tiny something that is there. Therefore, what the Bhagavad Gita says is, and that's what we follow here, in the Bhakti Tree, Bhakti Tree is the name? Bhakti Tree restaurant, that we offer the food with devotion to Krishna, the Supreme Soul, and He takes away all the karma. So, we are not vegetarians. When we offer the food, we offer vegetarian food to Krishna with love. He accepts it, and He leaves behind the food, which becomes His mercy. The Sanskrit word for mercy is prasadam, prasad. So therefore, we are not just vegetarians, we are prasaditarians, because we offer vegetarian food to Krishna with devotion, and then we accept that. So now it's totally karma-free, because Krishna has accepted whatever little karma is still there. But if someone doesn't offer the food to Krishna, there's still some karma. Minimal. Okay? And Any other questions? Yes. Yes. Okay. Can there be two souls in one body? Generally, there is one predominant soul, right, who is in charge of everybody. So, the you, the I, all of us, when we say I talk about one soul. But residing within this body, there could be innumerable other souls. For example, we have so many bacteria. Good bacteria, bad bacteria. They all live within the body, they're also living entities. And they have souls, or not souls. But the predominant entity that is the owner of this body, so to speak, is one. Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
I was just wondering if harm is caused to somebody, but it was done by accident. Is karma still inevitable? Like if there was no intention in order to cause the harm?
Interesting question. The question is, what if I cause harm to someone, but unintentionally? So your question is, what is the karmic reaction for that? Or is it that, was it destined to happen?
No, it's more like, is karma going to end up happening if it was done purely on accident?
Can you get a little closer to your mouth?
Sorry.
Yeah.
It was, is karma going to happen if it was all done by accident?
Okay, is there going to be a karmic reaction? Yes? Generally, yes. Let's say that you committed, of course there could be considerations. You know, when you go to a court of law, the judge considers many things. You know, the judge considers the motive, the judge considers the gravity of the offense, the cruelty with which we have been done, the plight of the victim. So many factors are considered. So yes, the fact that it was done incidentally or unknowingly will go in our favor. But nevertheless, some reaction will come. Why? Because the fact that I was put in a position where I accidentally caused harm to someone itself is a reaction to some karma I did earlier. Okay? So it was me who accidentally knocked somebody down rather than somebody else doing it. So I had to get that karma going through the agony of seeing someone, knocking somebody down when I didn't intend to. It's extremely painful for me. The other person lost his or her life. So it was not intentional, but the fact that it was me who was put in that place is not by chance. So there's some karma that I've done before which places me in that situation. Okay? Yes? Thank you. That is a good question. Every question is good, actually.
Is it possible to, in some ways, change the karma by acts of love and kindness to other people?
Excellent. Thank you. That's good questions. All of you are asking. Is it possible to change one's karma by acts of love and kindness? Yes and no. Yes, because you just generate such positive energy and such kindness and compassion that changes the hearts of people. And therefore, maybe let's say someone has wronged you and you're still kind to that person. You could change that person's heart by the way you deal with that person. Normally, that person would expect that you would get angry and take revenge or whatever, but then you do something entirely unexpected. So that would change that person's thinking and the way he or she acts. So you're helping that person change his or her karma, right? So you're spreading positive energy by your acts of kindness and love and compassion and so on. So in that sense, yes. But in another sense, you see, karma is material. You could have good karma, you could have bad karma, but they don't cancel each other out. If you perform bad karma, you must have bad reaction. You must have a reaction to that. If let's say you do one good karma, one bad karma, will they nullify each other? No. You will have to get a good reaction to the good karma. You will have to get a bad reaction separately to the bad karma. So you enjoy and you suffer. That's how karma works. So if you're loving and kind, that's good karma. So you get the good reaction of that at some point in time. But if you've also done some bad karma, you'll also face the bad reaction of that at some point. The only way you can actually destroy karma completely and burn it up from the roots is to take to the process of loving Krishna, the transcendental Supreme Personality, by raising your consciousness to the spiritual platform. That's what destroys the karma and the bondage. Okay? One last question? Or if there's more, I don't mind. We have someone had a hand raised there.
Does karma affect animals? Like if a tiger kills a deer?
Okay. I think we must record these questions. Is it something with Australians that you always ask good questions? Or just my karma and I put people today? Does karma affect animals? Yes and no. Animals do not generate karma. Animals only receive karma. Let me explain. Karma is generated when we're humans. And we receive the reactions in our future lives, whether we are as humans or as animals or plants or birds or whatever. So, if I've done some bad karma, I get a birth as an animal, let's say, this is a tiger. And then I have to face the reactions of that. But there's no question of karmic law for a tiger. If a tiger tells a lie or a tiger, eats meat or something, that's not bad karma for the tiger. But a tiger is a tiger because of some karma performed when that soul was in the human form of life. Let's consider the example of dogs. Okay, there are many pet dogs. Now in India we have stray dogs and they don't let you sleep at night. Here you have pet dogs. And many times the pet dogs are looked after very nicely. They sleep on the same bed and they have all sorts of nice food. They even go to beauty parlors sometimes. And they have all sorts of comforts and luxuries given to a dog. But it's a dog. So a birth as a dog is a result of terrible karma. But at the same time, instead of being a stray dog, that entity must have also done some good karma because he's living in a huge palace. And I don't know how it is in Australia, but in Singapore, they're very strict about what your dog does on the street. So you have the owners of the dog walking, he may be a millionaire, but he's walking the street, walking his dog and carrying a little can in his hand. And every time you think, oh, he goes with the can. So imagine this dog is getting served by a millionaire on the street. What kind of good karma he must have done? Even you and I can't get served by a millionaire like that. Yes, but this dog has that karma to be served like that. So that's good karma. But the bad karma is he's got the body of a dog. So the dog is receiving the reactions of the good and bad karma that he or she has performed in a previous incarnation, previous life as a human. But whatever the dog does will not generate further karma for it. And then by natural progression, by the sequential progression of the laws of nature, the soul will come back to the human form of life. And then your karmic actions begin again. Does it answer your question? Okay. All right. Do we end here, or do we have time for a question or two more? You have a question? Okay, fine. Volunteer. So thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure for me to be with all of you this evening.